That is correct.
Okay, we'll do roll call. Rob?
Rob Shadow Hebron.
Joe?
Joe O'Connor Hebron.
Vin?
Vin Colonna Hebron.
Scott?
Scott Fair Marlboro.
Lori?
Lori Blake, Andover.
Jess?
Jessica Daxis Hebron.
Kathleen?
Kathleen Goodwin Hebron.
And I'm Stephanie Bancroft from Andover. Would anybody mind skipping the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
Yes,
Nope.
please.
Okay. There is no public present, so there will be no public comments unless any of you would like to speak as public. No? Okay, moving on to new business. Discussion regarding switch to in-person monthly meetings. I thought we should talk about this just to set up some guidelines and have your input on going back to in-person meetings. My thought process was it would, if we're asking staff and students to go back to school, we should be meeting at least our monthly meetings in person if possible. I think we could keep our subcommittee meetings still virtual to cut down on the deep cleaning. Those take place more often than the monthly meetings. So to be mindful of the facility staff and their cleaning responsibilities, keep the subcommittee meetings virtual. Not only that, I think we have really good attendance for virtual meetings too, and sometimes those subcommittee meetings can be kind of difficult scheduling wise. So when it comes to monthly meetings, I was talking to Jessica about, if you are not feeling well or you think you have been exposed, by all means, stay home. But we're going to keep the meetings in the Zoom format for the audience, so you can call in or Zoom in to the meetings, so you can be a part of everything. We will be required to wear masks during a public meeting. We have our own microphones in front of us, so that shouldn't be a problem. We won't have to share microphones or anything. Does anybody else have any thoughts or questions? No?
Will we have social distancing? I mean, 6 feet apart?
Yeah, we have plenty of room, and we could, since we are not having an audience, we could even make a square, and spread out even more, if possible, or use some audience chairs for members if we don't feel like we can spread out the 6 feet. But RHAM is air conditioned, and they have the extra filtration now, and so I think it would be good to go back to in person as long as it's safe. So does everyone agree with that, or?
Steph, I think I've talked to you a little bit about some of my concerns and just kind of my thought process with that. Personally, I feel it's hard for teachers. They don't have an option, and I think that we do. And I think that it is part of our role to minimize risk where we can, not just for ourselves, but the staff within the building, each other. I know I'm back at work. A lot of us are back at work. And my only concern, even though there's the safety protocols, is that we're still bringing a group of people together for a number of hours. And these are people that have been exposed to other areas. So it's just something to think through, what if one of us does test positive? What does that mean for the rest of us? And then also what is the additional cleaning that would occur if that was to happen? And just also making sure people do have that option, even if they're not feeling good, even if they're not, showing symptoms, to still have that option to do it at home, because I think we're all coming from really different thought processes about COVID and how it affects us. Okay.
I would kind of like to take a poll to see how you're feeling about it, and if you decide that it's not something you want to do, then I can, we can put the kibosh on it. But that I just thought that I'd like to visit that idea, and you know, I'm feeling like we should, with those things that, you know, to keep in mind about not feeling well and all that. But yeah, it is, you know, the high school kids are not able to cohort in any way. So, you know, it's a little bit of a different situation than the elementary schools, where you have just one group of kids in a classroom, and only those kids are in that classroom. So I don't know. There are a lot of ways to look at it. I can see many sides. So I think I'd like to take a straw poll to see who, you know, how you're feeling about it. So can I go down the line and ask you how you're feeling about it? Okay, Rob?
I have no problem doing in-person meetings, but I mean, as you all know, I work in a place that has confirmed cases. I don't go in any of the buildings. I work there completely outside. But if people didn't feel comfortable with me attending the meetings, you wouldn't be hurting my feelings. But I am comfortable meeting as long as we can social distance.
Okay, Joe?
I kind of agree with Jessica. I think it's maybe a little premature right now. I think the virtual has been working pretty well. I think it's been structured fairly, you know, actually very well. So I would probably be in agreement with not sticking with virtual.
Okay. Vin?
I like the idea of, you know, being back in the school, you know, as the teachers and the staff and the kids are back in. And again, as long as we could do it safely, as you know, Jessica mentioned, a lot of us are back at work, and you know, people are having to go into work and take care of their regular business. So I would just ask that if we could maybe have a bigger monitor for the Zoom, you know, so that you can see, you know, we could have a visual of the people that are on the call. I know my wife teaches a exercise fitness class, and I set up a bigger screen for her so she didn't have to see people on the laptop, and it really makes a difference. So that would be my only recommendation. Thanks.
Okay. Scott?
Yeah, couple thoughts on this, and I'm not in disagreement with anyone. Just I guess I call my approach the hybrid approach. I think it is. Everyone else is in the building, and you know, just from the whole lead by example kind of thing, which I think is where this conversation began. I personally have no problem attending in person. However, I am not disagreeing with anything that Jessica or Joe just said, that like, it's why take a risk that you don't have to take. So I guess what I would say is, if we go to this, and we may need to amend board policy or not, I'm honestly not sure, because I think we're actually in a gray zone already with all this digital meeting. We're sort of technically outside of policy already. I think we should do exactly what we did for the families and the kids, and that means give people a choice. So in other words, have the meetings in person, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, whether it's for health reasons, you think you might, you know, I'll use a personal example. My daughter just came back from North Carolina. We tested her before she left North Carolina. We tested her the second she touched foot in Connecticut, but I'm being super cautious until a couple of weeks are over, just in case. Like, that's something that I'm doing. And so that's hopefully I didn't muddy the waters even more, but I'd like to see the option for in person, but any board member who wants to participate online, which frankly, after what we've all lived through for the past 6-7 months, and I don't want to go into like what's going on at work, but we've all learned that there's absolutely nothing wrong. My team is performing better than my team has ever performed before, and I haven't seen any of them since March 14th, except the way I see you right now. So that's my thoughts.
Okay, Lori?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Or is the treadmill too loud?
No, we're good.
Okay. I have to say I am entirely on the fence. I really like Scott's hybrid approach. I've been saying for a while, if we expect students to go into the building, that we should be having our, family return to school meetings in person. What's good for them is good for us, kind of type thing. So I completely get that. Personally, I've chosen to have both of my children distance learn because I can, and I'd rather not take the risk of sending them. And so, we chose that for a lot of different reasons. And it feels like if I'm going in to another group, that I'm sort of being counterproductive with that choice. I want to say yes, but I have those reservations. And maybe what we do is give it the first 6 weeks of school, 6-8 weeks. Let's see how it goes with the students being back in a large grouping. And if numbers still remain relatively low as they currently are, and things are going well, maybe we revisit it then. Or like I said before, I like Scott's hybrid model, where if that's what we did, from the beginning, so there was always that choice. But I think I would still recommend waiting till at least September is over to see where the towns are at that point.
Okay. Jess?
Yeah, you heard Mike now.
We know how you feel.
And I absolutely, and I respect absolutely everybody's opinion. And again, I think everyone comes at this from very different experience and backgrounds. So, I haven't seen my mother in just about a year because of this, and don't want myself to be the one to pass it to somebody if I, to risk that. So, yeah.
Kathleen?
I don't have a good answer because I think, like everybody else, we don't know. A couple things that you guys know I work, and I'm in a situation where I'm exposed to lots of things, and like Scott, I think to myself, how many risks do I want to put myself in? I also want to be empathetic to the fact that we have a superintendent who is probably never given the opportunity to be home, iron his shirt, or you probably haven't been in a room in your house in a really long time, Mr. Leslie, I am sure. So I want to be sure that we, consider Scott as well. He is also exposed to us as well as to the children and staff that he has in his building. It is 2021. So virtual and those opportunities, I'm looking at Joe and, the view that he has. And obviously we have the opportunity to have Joe as part of the meeting because of virtual meetings. So I want to be cognizant of the fact that it's also time to move forward. Do I miss the feeling of being in the room with all of you and understanding, where we're all coming from and the vibe that we have when we're together? Definitely. But I don't have a good answer because I think we don't have background in this, and I don't want to put anybody at risk. And I do recognize the fact that a superintendent's position, if they have the opportunity to go home, have dinner, and still participate in a meeting, there's something that we're doing for education in general and moving forward to having these people be able to have a balance between home and work. So,
Okay.
Whatever you guys decide.
I really like Lori's suggestion of maybe putting it off, getting school underway, seeing where this is all going. And do we all agree that maybe September we should still keep virtual and just kind of feel the situation out for October? Yes?
I think that's a great
With that.
Okay.
process.
All right. I don't want to rush the discussion, but Jessica is waiting for us. So if you want to comment or just talk out, it's just us right now. So if you want to say yes, good for September virtual, is that okay with everybody? Feel out
Yes.
the situation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We will do that then. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn the public portion?
Rob will make a motion to adjourn the public portion and go into executive session.
Seconded
Okay.
by Joe.
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right. Why don't we close out and then I'll get Jessica on. We'll start the executive session.
Okay, and I'll meet you in executive session and let everybody in, Stephanie.
Okay, thank you.